What's up, everybody? Matthew Curry here, creator, director, star of Quickman The Series. Welcome to our new Characters Explained series, where we're going to be going through the characters of Quickman and explaining their powers, who they are, and their backstories. And we're starting off, of course, with the man himself, Quickman. So, quick disclaimer, this is the show version of Quickman, as you've seen in the YouTube series. This is from Universe 101. This is not the Prime Quickman who we see in the books, which are coming soon and are coming along pretty nicely, and who appeared in Quickman and Incredible during that scene on Universe Prime. Another disclaimer, he's not a self-insert. He started out that way in Universe 1 Quickman, who you get a quick glimpse of in Quickman and Incredible, probably is more of a self-insert, but the main version of Quickman I have done so many terrible things to that we share nothing but, I play him, we look alike in the name. So starting off with Quickman's powers, his powers come from the Spark, which is a living energy dimension that exists on a higher dimensional plane than the universe and the multiverse. The first Quickman was Matthew's great-grandfather in World War II, who had his Spark connection awakened by a super soldier experiment. And since then, the Quickman powers were passed down to the first child of each Quickman, leading to the fourth Quickman, who's the main Quickman, Matthew Curry. So in terms of what the Spark does, he has super strength, super speed, super healing, and if we had the budget for it, lightning blasts and flight. But of course, in the show, we don't have the budget for that. For the show, Quickman The Series lives through very similar events to the book before we get to that point in the timeline, so I'll try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, because that will literally spoil the entire first book. So his mother dies of a heart attack a few months before Quickkiller shows up for the first time and kills his grandfather, who was the second Quickman, before his father, Richard, gets pulled away to fight in the Treaty War. And then the Curry siblings go to live with Matthew's godfather, Tony Carpenter, who unfortunately doesn't get to show up in the show, but that's okay. Matthew's powers manifest when he's 14, and he and his best friend Alex, aka Incredible, and the new kid Ethan Brady, aka Super Guy, take on their first villain, the Insane. Quickkiller then returns in their sophomore year and causes all sorts of trouble, leading to the heroes, along with new additions, Incredimant and Sapphire, who's of course Matthew's sister Sarah, having to team up just to get them to leave them alone. Then the Vontarans from Super Guy's homeworld of Vontar show up to try to take over the world. So Quickman goes on a training arc and becomes the strongest on the team for the first time in the whole series up to that point. And once that threat is taken care of, he and Alex finally get together at prom. Now, this is the breaking point for Hypnosis, who had a massive crush on Quickman, and we'll get her own video. And she goes full supervillain, and now turns the now much stronger Quickman against his friends, and ultimately results in him cutting off everyone out of fear that he could hurt them. But of course, just as he's at his lowest, it turns out the now comatose Hypnosis is pregnant with Matthew's daughter Valerie, and it's also around this time that Matthew takes guardianship of his younger brother Ryan, finally letting our boy Tony Carpenter chill off screen for the show. You guys are going to love him when the books come out. Getting to the show, in Season 1, of course, you can go back and watch this, but for video's sake, in Season 1 we see Quickman still very emo from the Hypnosis incident, as he and Detective Ian Thompson work to take down Zack Hunter's Q4 operation. Eventually they discover that Quickkiller was the one making Q4, and that he was actually tech billionaire Harold Warren, who is actually Ian's uncle Edward Thompson, but we'll touch more on that in the Quickkiller video. Quickkiller kidnaps Captain Cater and Ryan and uses Q5 to get the edge over Quickman, but then he kills Ian Thompson, which gives Quickman a rage boost, and he's able to get the win. Now, the Halloween Christmas specials are canon to the show, but they're not that important since they're just kind of fun side adventures, so if you want to know about those, go watch them. So, that takes us to Season 2, where Matthew meets Universe 102 versions of Harold Thompson, who is Quickkiller's counterpart, and Ian, where they actually continued the Quickman line after Richard Curry and that whole family died, so Ian is Universe 102's Quickman. With them, unfortunately, comes Speed Reaper, a spark-powered serial killer who destroys Universe 102. So Quickman then has to team up with this new Ian and Incrediman, and he has to use the Quick Sword to defeat Speed Reaper. In Quickman Returns, Randy Naylor, Quickkiller's college roommate, becomes the villain Dr. Cuckoo and starts to tear Matthew's life apart, killing Captain Cater, Ryan, orchestrating the death of Richard Curry, and ultimately pushing him over the edge, forcing Matthew to kill him before Matthew realizes that that's exactly what Quickkiller wanted. So he goes back in time, changes everything, before one final fight with Dr. Cuckoo, And it's after this timeline change that Quickman realizes that, maybe he should be more open to working with the other superheroes in the superhero society, which is being formed in the background during this film, as he doesn't really know this new world. Part of this new world is that Hypnosis wakes up. She takes over the entire city, including the heroes that Matthew brought in, forces Matthew to team up with Quicksilver and Randy to defeat her, but only after she turned Incrediman into Endgame, and Quickman has to fight his friend. Finally, in Quickman and Incredible, Matthew reaches out to Alex to try and start over, but is still very worried and beats himself up over the fact, that he's kind of tanking his own attempts at trying to get this relationship going again. But after walking through hell with Alex in order to gain the power to defeat Mercury, spark power of Roman Emperor, he and Alex are finally able to get together as they lead the Superhero Society. Quickman will return one more time this summer in the Superhero Society, now in production. Stay tuned.